Awesome. Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Like I said, I'm busy. I'm transitioning jobs right now, still with the Navy, but transitioning over to a different program. So it's pretty hectic this week. So thanks for taking time out of your busy life to chat with me. I was able to watch the entire series, A Million Stories, and it was awesome. I mean, I consider myself to know a lot about financials just from personal experience, but I still learned some things. So I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
No problem. I was excited to be part of the show and help hopefully a lot of people who are feeling a little intimidated when it comes to financial literacy to learn a bit more of the basics.
Yeah, and you're right, it can be very intimidating, and you hear, for example, stocks was the first one, and that is that can be very intimidating. So
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I didn't know anything about stocks and I didn't know where to start. So I was really, if anything, very fortunate to host the show because I suddenly got to talk to all these experts and try and learn a little bit about it.
that's great. I'm sure. I hope you learned something from it too. You're probably like, oh wow, I didn't know that. That's pretty
Any of
cool.
this, yeah.
So did you have a favorite like segment that you recorded?
Oh gosh, I think the intro for the real estate episode where we went and actually saw a really cool property and talked to the real estate guy was really fun. So that was probably my favorite one.
And just because you got to go and see the property and just kind of have
Yeah, it
that
was just like a fun
experience.
experience and like the scene we shot was kind of ridiculous. So it was all kind of a fun time. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, my dad's a real estate agent, and so when we were buying our house back in 2015, it was kind of cool to go with him to see all these other houses. I'm like, I know this is out of my price range, but can we just go see it, please?
Yeah.
For the experience, why not? That's pretty cool. That one was a pretty cool episode as well. And even though like I have that experience from my dad being a real estate agent, it's still I learned some stuff from that one as well. I don't plan on moving anytime soon. It's too much.
Fair. Yeah. It's
So
very
is there a
stressful.
particular, yeah, is there a particular reason that or something that motivated you to take part in the series?
I think I just saw it as such a great learning opportunity for myself. And I truly did not know anything about financial literacy. I was just so inept. Like I have my own company, but I have an accountant who does my taxes. My parents still help. I didn't have my own personal credit card. I just actually got mine for the first time in Canada. So, I really needed help. I had no investments, nothing. So definitely was just such a great learning opportunity. And I've always wanted to work more on camera as a host. So just kind of all lined up really well.
Well, you definitely did more than just dip your toes in the water there with being a host because it was an entire series that
Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got my first credit card when I was like 18 and had no idea what I was doing or like
Oh my
anything.
gosh. No, yeah, I think I was the same age, but I got a shared one with my mom so she could see what I was spending on and like remind me to pay it off, which honestly I really needed. So I'm thankful for that.
No, you just don't know. You're just swiping that plastic credit card and you're like,
Yeah.
oh geez, and there's a bill at the end of the month. Uh-oh.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, I think I really resonated most with the stocks one. My husband handles all of that. Like we both work full time and I just give him my login. I'm like, you understand this more than me. Just go in and do what you need to do to make it work, hopefully. So I think that one resonated the most with me just because I feel lost. Like I know what it is, but as far as utilizing it and not losing all of my money is a challenge.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's definitely it can be stressful at times, but I think just the more I've talked to experts and kind of learned a little bit about financial literacy, it's less intimidating. You just really have to push yourself to learn a little more on the basics, and then you kind of go, "Oh, this like is math, like it's logical, it makes sense." Most of the time. So, yeah.
And I like the term financial literacy too, just simply because that's exactly what it is. It's just the, understanding of it, getting the basics. And like you said, then you can expand upon it. And so I know I wasn't raised in a household that I had financial literacy. I mean, obviously I knew you had bills and you know what a credit card was and you had to pay the bill. But as far as all of the in-depth stuff,
There's not much about it. And I think also most high schools and middle schools aren't really teaching the students like the basics of financial literacy or taxes or anything like that. And I'm kind of like, I learned calculus that I never use now, but I don't know how to do taxes or like compound interest, any of that. Like, come on, we need to fix that. Yeah.
I completely agree with you there. My nephews are all in high school now and they don't even know what like a checkbook is. And like,
Wow.
I'm
Yeah, I
like,
feel like
"You're
checkbooks are
like,
interesting though, because I feel like a lot of Gen Zers are not really
Right.
writing checks, but I love the feeling of writing a check, ripping it off, or getting one. Because like it's fine to get paid when they like deposit it in your account or whatever, but getting a check and like feel like holding it, there's something different about that.
A tangible thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't write many checks, but I do like to have checks because I mean, it's good if I need to write a check for my son's school or something like that. I don't have to go and get cash out because I never have cash either.
Yeah, yeah. Cash is another thing I think that is not getting as frequent use as before.
Right. Now everything's on the plastic cards that people don't know
But
how to use.
again, I really think there's a value to cash because then you can like feel yourself spending the money and you feel more conscious about and you like hopefully think about it a little bit more.
Yeah, and when the money's gone, it's gone, like literally.
Yeah.
Yes, I totally get that. That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely times have changed even from, I mean, I don't know if I'm much older than you, but times have changed from my education too.
Mm,
They definitely teach way less than they did even to me. And taxes were definitely not taught. And I have a business as well, an LLC. And so thankfully I have a CPA that does my taxes for me. But I'm always asking her, can you explain where this
what
number
this
was
is.
derived, like what adds to what, and what
Yeah.
ultimately does this do to me? Can I change that for next year? And I don't understand it. I think I understand enough to just ask enough questions,
Yeah,
hopefully.
no, it's scary. It's like a big thing that a lot of people just don't get, and we need more literacy. Like literacy for me always reminds me of like reading, like literature, but I think literacy with numbers and understanding money is equally important.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you there. So on that note too, is there a piece of advice that you were given whenever you were younger or even in your adult life that has stuck with you, resonated, something you could share?
I think my aunt has been a great example to me as a young adult of how to really save your money, like how to really innovate with what you have around you instead of going, oh, I should go buy this, or like I need this thing, it broke, like I can't fix it. She's been so smart with her money, and now, she's older, and she's saved a lot, and I'm really inspired by that, and I hope I can be as thrifty, as witty as her with my money as time goes on.
That's awesome. Yeah, I completely get that too. I have definitely role models in my life, and I don't know, I handle all the finances in our home mainly. I mean, I pay all the bills and I share it with my husband. I'm like, hey, this is what we have. This is what we need to not spend as much on next month. And so I'm a very frugal person in general. Although those, immediate purchases for a sale or something always get me.
I know, yeah, the sales are like, for me, when I'm in Sephora, for example, and you're lining, and then they have all these tiny little ones, so you feel like you're getting a deal, like, oh, that stuff is so hard to
Or
resist.
online where it's like if you spend $8 more, you get free shipping, or
Yeah.
like $80 more, you get free shipping. You're like, okay, free shipping is $8, but if I spend 80, I save eight, right? Makes no
Yeah.
sense. But
There's
so
so
I try
many
to,
ways I think it's so easy as a consumer to get looped into spending more than you need to. So really taking the time to think about things, especially with online shopping, I try and like wait a few hours a day because usually by the next day I'm kind of like, oh, this isn't that cute. I don't really need this.
yeah, online shopping is definitely a trap,
Yeah.
but it's good. I love me some Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, Amazon's great. Yeah, most of the
Yeah.
time.
So do you set like goals for yourself, like long-term, short-term goals? And do you have a certain process that you
Oh
do?
gosh. Just fine. You mean financially?
Either way, financially, business, anything?
I try to have goals. I'll try and write out, like beginning of the year what I want, or like in spouts of inspiration, I'll write like, oh, by this time I'll have this accomplished. But so rarely have any of those turned out for me, very unfortunate, very unfortunately. I try now in my life to get excited about things once they're happening in front of me versus dreaming about them and then they don't happen or something goes wrong or it doesn't turn out the way I hoped it would. I definitely have overall long-term goals for myself. I should be more efficient and probably set up some shorter term ones to get there faster. But I think I'm also in a weird transition period of my life where I have too many interests and I'm trying to like figure out what to spend my time on. So overall, it's confusing but fun.
Yeah, I totally get that. We set the goals the same way, big, overarching, mainly it's home renovation projects
Yeah.
just because there's always something to be done. But we have to remember to set those little increment goals so you can
Mhm.
celebrate them little by little. It was the same when we were in debt with student loans, and it was the same thing. We just set little goals and celebrated those.
Yeah.
Um, we don't have those anymore, thank goodness.
Yeah,
Um,
no, those are
but
they're brutal.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, brutal. Debt is brutal in general. So yeah, I appreciate that because I'm not the only one that sometimes feels like I've failed in my goals.
Yeah.
No,
I think we all feel like that in some ways, and yeah, we're not definitely not alone. Yeah.
right. So you mentioned about different things that you like to do, right? And you have a lot of things that you have your hand in. Are there certain things that you like to do in your spare time, if you have any spare time?
When I have spare time, honestly, sometimes I'm so exhausted, I'll just, turn on Friends or like some Schitt's Creek, like something, or like a film that I've been meaning to watch. Otherwise, I read a lot about old Hollywood, dead people, and I draw, I write. I'll go see friends. I'll just try and find ways to de-stress because most of the time, especially because I'm kind of self-employed, I it's very hard to separate personal and professional life, and so I just try and crack out as much as I can each day, but some days it's less and some days it's more.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah, I wish I had more time to read. I love it. I truly do. I just have 3 kids, so that
Yeah,
just
no, I can't even imagine.
they're 8, 2.5, and 6 months.
Oh,
So
wow, wow,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah. So I have books, like I have a whole pile of books that I want to read. And I don't know why, but a friend of mine was like, "Hey, do you want these books?" I'm like, sure, like those are the kinds I like to read, but I don't know when I'll get to read them.
Hands are full, yeah.
Hands are full. I usually check them out from the library just because, but then I'm like, they only give me like 2 weeks to read them. And I
Yeah,
can,
and then to go get an extension, and it's like a whole thing,
or
yeah.
that I get fined. And I know it's like 25 cents or something, but still, it's still a fine that I'm like, I want to just turn that book in. Geez. So back to the series a little bit. If there's like a summary statement or like something that you hope viewers get out of the
Mm.
series, what would it be? I know we talked about financial literacy, but
Yeah, yeah. Just feeling a little more inspired to be proactive about their finances and learning and financial literacy. Obviously I hope like maybe if someone has not set up the retirement fund or thought about things like that, they watch the show and then they go and do it in the next week or so. That would be really cool to like know that we've had a tactile impact on someone in that way. But I think in general, just getting people less afraid of learning about finances.
I appreciate that. I've watched a lot on Million Stories for sure. I love that they're little shorts, like shorts basically, because again,
Yeah.
I don't have much time to sit down and watch this long, informative thing. Plus, then I can go back and rewatch it. Like, oh, gee, she said something about that I want to go back and watch. And so,
Mhm.
um, I agree. I agree with that wholeheartedly, just based upon me watching that on Million Stories.
Yeah. Thanks for watching it.
Absolutely. I always share it too. I have a few friends that I went to college with that
Mhm.
are like financial coaches, I guess you could
Oh, cool.
say,
Yeah.
that help you in like business and stuff like that. And I'm always sharing like, hey, there's a new series over on Million Stories that, is free. And so share this with your clients
Yeah.
because you might as well. I mean, because obviously if you're trying to get out of debt, you don't want to pay a whole bunch of money to get out of debt, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today. I greatly do. I know you're busy, just like I'm busy, like we talked about. So I greatly appreciate you sitting down with me and chatting about the series. I'll be sure to share it. And best of luck in all of your future endeavors.
Thank you so much for watching it.
Thank you.